Welcome back, Patriots, to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we're checking out the Twitter handle End Wokeness. There's a variety of videos we're going to cover here. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. This first one, it's really remarkable. That time when Mayor Johnson blamed his job performance on the fact that he has to put up with a black wife and kids. Leave it up to a Democrat to say something insane like this.
I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it, I'm mayor, I get it. But you're asking me to give you a date and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife, I have children, they have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address, and I'm doing.
Hasn't he been mayor for like 2 years or something like that? It's been quite some time. We got a budget we still have to address. Never got to that still. The unhoused, which is it's just homeless, right? It shows you where the Democrat Party is at in terms of utilizing specific language because they don't want to offend anybody. It's the unhoused in the same way that they call illegal aliens, these illegal immigrants, newcomers, right? It's all about changing the language to soften the blow of some sort of criminal behavior that's taking place. But if any of us that actually follows the law does something like that, we get fined, incarcerated, our cars towed, whatever it may be. But it's okay if you're a Democrat and you're doing something illegal in a Democrat-ran city, it's absolutely going to be A-okay. But don't worry, he's going to brush it off, folks. He has a family to take care of. He has wife and kids to take care of. Wouldn't you have like built that, or at least had that a part of the equation when you were running for mayor or however you got elected, knowing the fact that you have to run a city on top of taking care of your family, but yet you're going to blame taking care of your family over the fact that you have to run a city that's absolute garbage because the Democrat Party ran it into the ground?
Doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible.
I'm going to the border as soon as possible. It just shows you that Greg Abbott, Doug Ducey of Arizona, you got Ron DeSantis of Florida. What they're doing down there is clearly working by busing these migrants to Chicago. And like I've always mentioned, they couldn't even take care of 11,000 at a time, like a specific point in time where Texas saw 11,000 coming in per day. And Chicago had like 11,000 in 6 months or some crazy number. And it like blew through their budget. Their infrastructure was collapsing. They didn't know what to do. Now people are getting pissed off. So it just shows you that when voters are actually impacted by something, that's going to ultimately sway the vote. And they are pissed over there in Chicago. But you know what? They should have been pissed before with Lori Lightfoot, that terrible mayor. And now they're getting upset with Mayor Johnson, who's just another left-wing progressive, this psycho that's running Chicago into the ground as well and absolutely not doing anything, which is why you heard him say, well, I still have to do this. I still have to do that. I still have to do this and that and that. It's like, why don't you just get it done? Yeah, this next one, this one's really going to get you guys going. Biden Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. This guy wanted to be president. You remember that? This dude wanted to be president, and he can't even handle being transportation secretary. Quote, the effects of climate change are upon us. Turbulence is up 15%. Here we go.
The reality is the effects of climate change are already upon us in terms of our transportation. We've seen that in the form of everything from heat waves that shouldn't statistically even be possible, threatening to melt the cables of transit systems in the Pacific Northwest, to hurricane seasons becoming more and more extreme, and indications that turbulence is up by about 15%.
I know. I'm right there with you. This guy's crazy. But he's part of the Democrat Party. He's part of the progressive left. But don't worry, they're going to blame everything on climate change. For those that are old enough, look, you know, I'm 35, but I remember reading articles from, I think it was like the 70s, wasn't it? Where they're saying, oh, there's going to be climate change, but the world is cooling. The globe is cooling down. Everything's going to turn to ice. We're going into the next ice age. Then Al Gore comes in office. Oh, everything's warming up, climate change, things are going to be bad, tornadoes, hurricanes, you never seen anything like it, which is why you had all these like end of the world type of movies like The Day After Tomorrow with Dennis Quaid. You also had another one, I think it was like 2012 or something with the end of the world scenario with all these climate change stuff. You know, most recently, I think it was just last week, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, that nut job, comes out and blames climate change. We watched this on the channel, blames climate change for his lack of $100 billion surplus. And when I say lack, what I mean by that is he blew it. He's in a deficit. He blew $100 billion surplus. Just gone. Doesn't know where it went. Oh, well, 93% went here, 98% went there. The numbers don't match up or whatever. Dude's totally corrupt. They got a crime problem in California where I live. We have a homeless problem where we live. We got massive illegal immigration. We have a lot of people that aren't paying taxes that are siphoning from the system. We got all sorts of stuff taking place, but don't worry. It's easy to just, oh, climate change this, climate change that. I saw something just the other day where it was like, oh, record-breaking heat wave, first time in 2,000 years. So you're saying it's happened before. You notice that it's a lot of like, well, you know, statistically this heat wave shouldn't happen. Where are you getting that from? Like, statistically it shouldn't, like, what does that even mean? As a statistics teacher, like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have happened, but yet you're going to say, yeah, it happened 200 years ago. So for the first time in 200 years, now we hit a wave, meaning it has been as hot or as cold, however you want to phrase it. Truly remarkable stuff. Well, one thing I really wanted to show you guys scrolling down through this is what a cult looks like. Now, I don't know if this is it seems like some sort of education classroom / staff work area, but you need to be aware of this is what's going on in some school systems. And the reason why I say some, it's not every school system, but notice that it's all these other flags, right? Everything has to be diversified. Everybody has to be represented. Every color has to be shown. Everybody needs equal representation, even though that's impossible to happen. So check this out.
We also have our flag wall, which represents flags from various parts of the community. And underneath all of these flags, we have a little description of what it means to be a part of said section of the community.
I just want to point out, you see right over her head there. What does that say, folks? Yes, that says Black Lives Matter. The same organization that stole millions of dollars, the same organization that is ran by socialist quasi-communists. I mean, that's their own words. A same organization that sat there and ripped white people saying racist remarks, but then bought these massive mansions within predominantly white-only neighborhoods. And I'm not saying white only like legally, it's just there's predominantly only white people in that neighborhood. The same organization that does nothing whatsoever for black people. You know, none of that money actually went into black communities to fix up maybe the landscaping, uplift certain people. You know, Joe Biden wants to pay off student loan debt forgiveness. Why not take some of that and fix up your school system, your local community members, maybe, I don't know, fix up their houses or whatever it may be, relieve some debt that maybe is on their end because like Karine Jean-Pierre said, oh, well, we need to relieve some sort of burden upon people. You know, the same organization that sat there and burned down our cities and you had billions of dollars of damages, property damage done through different various black businesses across the United States. The same organization that wants to get rid of the nuclear family, which is one of the worst things you could possibly do for a society that wants to be successful and progress forward. If you're going to remove the nuclear family, not only does incarceration rates go up, but so does crime, so does debt, so does poverty. Like there's a lot of statistics that correlate into getting rid of or removing the nuclear family and only having one parent household in that. But no, let's support all these things here. Remember, it has to be diversity, it has to be equity and inclusion, all this other stuff. This is what's going on.
Now, moving into some more fun stuff, we have our staff area. This is where our lovely student staff, like myself, as well as the career staff, like to hang out. You can ask them questions. We all get to collaborate on projects. It's very fun. We also have Athena, our program.
Why is this so messy? Seriously, I look, I get there's messy people out there. I was always brought up, my parents were, not my parents, my father and grandfather were in the military. And one thing I learned, especially through doing various Bible studies and just becoming a Christian, is that whenever somebody walks into your household, or say they walk into your classroom, you can learn a lot by the way somebody presents themselves, not just from the way that they dress, to the way that they speak, but also specifically to the environment that they allow themselves to dwell in. And that's something that I've learned, is that people will judge you right off the bat in the environment that they're walking into and the environment that they're about to dwell in themselves. And if you're not even able to take care of yourself in the environment, how are you able to take care of those people that are students? And so I see that here. Of the whiteboard's dirty, you haven't cleaned it. My whiteboard and my desks are cleaned every single day. Everything is orderly. There's not stuff just strewn about. If you were to walk in, you see an orderly classroom ready to go each and every class session. And so that people have an environment that is clean. It's an environment that's built for success. It's a built for, hey, we're ready to work. We're not here to screw around. We're not here to put our pigtails and say, oh, my feelings are hurt. No, we're ready to do some actual work, learn some actual math, get good grades. We're all in it together. But when I see an environment like this is not an environment of success. This is an environment of chaos. And you see that strewn out all around.
Coordinator Athena is the one who helps organize all of those cool activities that I showed you on the calendar. We also have Blake's office in the very back. Blake is very near and dear to our hearts because he is our brand new director for the center. He is a very, very, very funny guy. Now, moving on to the last leg of our tour. This is our student kitchen. We have a fridge, we have a microwave, we've got our sink.
Why is the student area more clean than the actual like staff area? That has me worried. Well, I'm not going to finish the whole thing. Let's see what else. It looks like they just got a bunch of stuff. This is the stuff they're promulgating. But looks like a nice school nonetheless. But be aware of what's actually going on inside the classroom, folks, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that's being promulgated. It's being pushed out there. And Memorial Day's tomorrow. But, one, I got to give respect to this person for at least serving the country. But we have a fallen nation. Oh, do we? My pronouns are she/her. What are yours? Now, respect for this individual. I forgot actually their name. Respect to the individual for serving, right? But here's the thing. When you have an adversary that doesn't do stuff like this, that cares two shits about your pronouns, cares about you as an individual, actually wants to see you wiped off the face of the earth, that will behead you, wear your freaking teeth as a necklace, right? Wear your freaking nipples as earrings. Like, this stuff seems like jokes. It's not a joke. I'm not riffing here. I'm not creating a comedic set or piece. There's people that want to wipe you off the face of the earth. When they see things like this, they're going to sit there and laugh at you. And what they're also going to do is they're going to take a leap forward on something they traditionally wouldn't do because they looked at you as a military that was feared versus a military that seems kind of like a pussy. So I'm not saying that's what this individual is, but when the adversaries see things like this, it is not a good image for the United States. Now, something I also want to show here that we're going to kind of debunk, because I've actually seen a lot of people continue to make this mistake, is you had this spike in the last election. You all remember this, right? Where we go to bed, Donald Trump's winning, right? Republicans the red, Democrats are the blue votes. We all wake up and somehow Joe Biden is through the roof. Now, when you see a vertical spike like this in graphs, again, coming as a statistics instructor, that does not mean I know everything about statistics or mathematics. I'm not like a professor at a university or anything like that, but I can read a graph. Is when you see a vertical spike, that doesn't mean that anything fraudulent happened. We did the same thing when we audited in accounting, is that you would want to look at, hey, why was there such an increase in, hell, I don't know, revenue? You had a 10, 15% increase in revenue. We'd like to document that or look into it. Or, hey, you had some sort of materiality going on. Let's put in a disclosure of why that materiality happened or the level of error took place. So we analyze data and we want to come to some sort of understanding of why it happened. Now, could it be fraudulent? This vertical spike here that you see in blue, could it have been fraudulent? Absolutely. But you just want to sit there and look under the hood. And so when this took place, Democrats got all upset with Republicans for saying, whoa, this isn't a weird anomaly. And they're going, no, it's not. That's not a weird anomaly. A vertical spike, you guys, is it's a rare thing. Like, if you look at this trajectory, right, for both Republicans and Democrats, right, that nice curve, it's going up, it's up. Like, you would expect a vertical curve to happen right at the beginning, right? And then as you notice, it's going to start plateauing because you have less votes coming in. But when you just have a vertical spike like that, it should raise eyebrows for anybody, including Democrats, because you would imagine somebody had to fuck up. Somebody had to make a mistake here, or there's something fraudulent taking place. Now, I believe what took place here was it was a clerical error. It was a clerical error. So a lot of people got really upset, but, these are things we want to look out for here in the 2024 election, because people do make big old mistakes here. Now, we also have the George Floyd changing the world here, which I really like this graph here. So it's U.S. murder rate by race, rate per 100,000. Okay, U.S. murder rate by race. Here we go. So that spike, if you guys saw, when did it start going up? Oh, around 2020, right? The George Floyd effect, folks. Weird. All again, you just saw the image of the Black Lives Matter poster, right? Why are blacks being killed at higher rates than any other race? Because other blacks are killing blacks. In the same way that whites kill whites, Asian kills Asians. There's a cultural problem that is shared between blacks, whites, and other races for the reasons why they go out and kill other people. Now, what are those cultural problems? The cultural problem that tends to weave into all of this is a single mother household. It is the removal of the nuclear family at the end of the day. And what's astonishing here is, for some reason, I see these progressive left and some people in the Democrat aisle saying that's not a quantifiable thing to analyze and look at. And that's not the real issue in terms of why people are murdering or committing crimes or going homeless or having massive amounts of debt or not being successful in life or whatever. But it is. At the end of the day, it really is. It's the one metric that actually weaves into most facets of life is what your upbringing is. And now, to be fair, it does go down to the individual, right? It's not just somebody's environment that they grow up in, even though that does have it is a variable into the equation of kind of the outgrowth of what is produced from the individual. But you can have an individual, this is why twins are studied so much. You can have an individual, two twins, being offered the same services, the same household, the same everything, and still have two different outcomes. Because at the end of the day, everybody looks into things differently. Their brain functions in different ways. The development of the brain is different. Their friend group is different. The things that they believe in is different. One might be a Christian, one might be an atheist. People are individuals. And that's why I've always said this whole idea of equality, of outcome, it just doesn't work, because you have things like reality that play, and people are always going to choose different things because they're individuals. They like different things. They want to sit there and source out different things and pick and choose what they like and don't like. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because you have Joe Biden pushing this whole race thing. But if you look, there's certain communities, and this has nothing to do with the race, but there's certain communities that sit there and just have massive amounts of crime. And it's those communities that tend to be low income. They tend to be Democrat. They also happen in Republican areas. But when you have a problem like the dissolvement of the nuclear family, you're going to get more of what you push. And because you're pushing Black Lives Matter, well, you're going to get more of that removal of the nuclear family. One thing I also want to, I can't show it here, but I'll see if I can show. We usually get flagged for showing stuff like this. YouTube, this is for educational purposes only. There's a kindergarten fight here. Okay, there's a fight at a kindergarten. So let's check this out. It's a kindergarten graduation and people are fighting. Isn't this insane? Isn't this insane? A fight at a graduation. This is where we're at as a society, folks. This is where we are at as a society. And sadly, it's happened in, I believe it was Tennessee. Tons of stuff going on with China swarming around Taiwan. That's a huge issue. A lot of people are really calling back to the George Floyd stuff just because I believe it was the anniversary. But I don't know. Wanted to hang out with you guys a little bit today. I know it's a little bit of a shorter video. But if you enjoy this type of content, where we're just kind of scrolling through, going over different videos and stuff like that, listen to the commentary, let me know. I actually enjoy doing this because it's almost like we're sourcing out material together. You're getting real-time commentary from me rather than always looking up notes or, looking up something and knowing beforehand. Let me know. Again, we're always trying to cater to the people. We're always trying to cater to the Bald Brad Army. Speaking of that, we do have a membership down below. 99 cents. It's Bidenomics, folks. I know things are tough. We're all pinching for $1 or a penny here. So please don't feel like you have to. You watching all my videos all the way through without skipping ahead, that's what supports the show. If you leave midway through, YouTube looks at it as like a downgrade, if that's how I want to phrase it. It's not the right phraseology, but it actually hurts the channel when you only watch forever how long and then you leave. But if you stick all the way through, it captures all your data. And then it says, hey, a lot of people are really engaging with this channel. They're hitting that like button. They're leaving us a comment down below and they're watching all the way through. We want to send this to more people because YouTube plays ads in the videos, right? And they capitalize on that revenue from that. And they go, hey, more people are liking this. Let's go ahead and send this to more people. And we could really have a movement here. So more than giving your hard-earned money, you watching the show and supporting us that way, that's what really, really helps tremendously. And folks, Memorial Day's to almost said to father. But tomorrow, go ahead and send a prayer out to all those that have sacrificed their life on the front lines or any way, shape, or form of serving this great country of ours. Yes, there's people that hold the day for having barbecues and things like that, and that's one way to celebrate. If you've spoken to probably a lot of people, if they could still be around, saying, you know what, rather than mourning the death, celebrating that death in various facets, but still understanding the reasoning for the day, I think is really important. But saluting all those that protect and serve our country, are on the front lines, our first responders, the men and women in uniform, always appreciate you guys. And again, give a little bit of prayer to those that have passed on, given up their life for our freedoms. And with that being said, folks, I will see you tomorrow here on the Bull Brad Show.